This is ATL Day Ones, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. And it starts now.
It is ATL Day Ones. I'm Jarvis Davis. That's Tenitra Batiste. That my partner in crime, the person who is ready to go to the block just in case any one of y'all want to get wrong with your boy. You know, we holding it down here on ATL Day Ones. And we also always, as always, we want to thank you for making ATL Day Ones your first listen of the day. And remember, we are free and available wherever you download your podcast. I'm talking about iTunes, Spotify, wherever you want to get your podcast from. We don't discriminate. We're going to make it available just for you. And also, I want to give a quick shout out. Thank you for helping us get to this benchmark of 1,000 subscribers. We asked, and y'all came through. And Tenitra got those hugs on deck, and I'm still trying to figure out how I'm gonna pay y'all. I might come up with a little something. We're gonna figure it out. But it might not be monetary because you know your boy ain't doing it like that just yet. All right, T, we got a lot on board for today. The Braves walk it off last night. We have some college football coaches who actually get this whole NIL thing. Imagine that concept. Oh, we'll talk about that. And in for the culture, my main man, Tariq Cohen, he lays it all out for you. We'll get into all of that. But first, the Atlanta Braves, 5-3, Orlando Arcia walks it off. I'm sitting up here kind of like looking at the game, and I'm just like, oh, my God, Colin McHugh gets out of a jam late in the game, and I just think he's just a guy that he just almost kind of like the Grim Reaper or whatever. You know, he just has such a stoic look on his face when he comes into the game, and he just comes in like, oh, okay, y'all can have 8 people on base. I'm about to get out of this inning and go on about my way. But the Braves pulled it off last night, T. I don't know about you, but that was some good stuff last night.
Oh, so many positives after the game, because before the game, all of us were nervous. You and I kind of watched the to see if the Braves were going to tweet out any batting orders, right? Like yes. Around the time that we were recording yesterday to see Willie won't he. Turned out Ronald Acuna Jr. did not play due to that soreness in his groin, which gave Orlando Arcia the opportunity to come in at DH, right?
Yes.
And there were some questions on who would DH. It turned out to be him. And 585th at bat in the majors is when you decide to show up and show out big for the Braves. And they needed it. This is that type of energy that you hope will somehow carry. It also gave the Braves an opportunity to get a split of the series, which is far better than going down to the Red Sox, no doubt.
Good
but
Lord,
also,
yeah.
You mentioned a great point about Colin McHugh that takes me back to something we said even yesterday in terms of what we saw in Kyle Wright and how he got roughed up with 3 runs in 1 inning, but came back to pitch scoreless innings to get them to 5 innings and almost 5 innings. And here we are actually getting that out of Ian Anderson, who also got roughed up for 3 runs, but yet stays the course, gives the Braves 5 1/3 innings, only walks 1 batter and strikes out 4. So you still kind of look at that as like a quality outing from Ian Anderson for the most part in terms of what the Braves needed him to do to get themselves to the point of utilizing the night shift. So yeah, I really liked a lot of things that I saw out of the game last night. And who knows, we keep looking, and this might be the momentum that they need as they get the day off, as they prepare to wrap the homestand with Padres this weekend, and then of course go back on the road and back to taking on the Brewers.
You know what, and I think that's something that could be a jump start, a little bit of some them cables, them jumper cables, get some jumper cables going, because Orlando Arcia, a guy who hasn't really played that much, right. and I think that some kudos have to be given out, because we always question Brian Snitker sometimes, right? With some of the decisions that he made, and as far as him being a little bit too loyal, which is what you look for in a manager, especially from a player standpoint. I know that's kind of how I roll. But I think that for him to be savvy enough to say, you know what, this guy hasn't had that many at-bats. He's been batting well for us when he has had opportunity to come to the plate. Yeah. So, hey, I'm going to go ahead and get this dude a shot. And you gotta you got to give kudos to Brian Snitker for making that move and, just getting the Braves to the point, putting these players in position to be successful. And that's all you can ask for out of a manager. Like you said, got the homestand with the Padres and getting ready for the Brew Crew. I'm looking forward to that series because I think the Braves got some get back to get, with those guys. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. One thing that I'm also looking forward to, NFL season, right? We know the NFL schedule is set to come out tonight. But you already know every year around this time, you start to get some of those leaks. And it looks like we have found out who the Falcons will be playing in the season opener. Yes. Guess who? T, your hometown team. I know you're a fan of them.
Right.
You gotta say that if you are.
I know you. Y'all don't scare me.
The New Orleans Saints. They were taking on the New Orleans Saints. At Mercedes-Benz, September 11th. Wow, talking about starting the season off right, man. I just know that, if you get a dub against your doggone division rival to start the season off, I think Arthur Smith would be really, really happy.
Oh, yeah, that 1-0 will probably feel more like 10-0. And there's so many cool little storylines because, like you said, they're going to be opening the season against one another as opposed to last year where they ended the season against one another. So that's going to be kind of an interesting mix there. So it'll also be interesting to see because I don't anticipate that they would start and end with the Saints, but they will, of course, now that the league has kind of switched things up, they'll end with a division rival. I suspect it's going to be the Panthers just because the league is probably expecting the division to go down to the wire with the Saints and the Bucs, but we shall see as we get the whole schedule out later on tonight. Also, Falcons have done very well against the Saints in season openers. This will be the 10th time. We're talking 8-1 here. So nice. Advantage. Falcons go, in terms of that being a good look for them, having them at the bench. And also, we don't know how this is going to play out, but it could play out as the two number 1 and number 2 picks of the 2015 draft in Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota might just be going up against one another. It'll be interesting to see. We don't know because it could be Desmond Ridder on this side, and Lord only knows what's going to happen down in NOLA. But could be interesting to see if one of these guys makes one more statement in terms of, shall we say, revitalizing their career on a pretty big stage.
No doubt about it. And one other quick note about the Atlanta Falcons, they have added 6 coaches as part of their Bill Walsh Diversity Coaching Fellowship. I say that fast 3 times. The reason why I brought this up to you is because our boy, our main man, HD, Harry Douglas, will be part of that fellowship and for the 2022 season. So, yeah, I just want to give a quick shout out to the homie, Harry Douglas, man. This dude has been working his behind off. Ever since I met that guy, I just knew. I was like, oh, yeah, he about to go. He's not going to be a guy that's going to stick around and all that stuff. This man is headed national, and that's exactly what happened. So, yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to my boy, Harry Douglas.
And nobody prepares more than Harry. I don't care if it is a 10-minute show. I don't care if it's Falcons pregame for 2 hours. I don't care if it's play-by-play or color commentary. If Harry Douglas's name is on it, you can best believe it's going to be a 110% effort. Jarvis and I can certainly speak to it personally, preparing for some color commentary opportunities that we've had these last few years. And he was definitely one of the guys that we both dialed up immediately and said, hey, Harry, how can we go and make sure that we bring our A game, if you will, because Harry always brings his A game. And he's one of those guys, like Jarvis said, Harry can go in any direction and succeed. I can remember one day stumbling upon his notepad in the studio for the Falcons radio network and thinking, oh, dear God. Like he prepares like the curriculum. You remember when you used to see those lessons plans from old students when they wrote it out? That's your boy Harry. Yep. Something special. And boy, oh boy, I'm just excited for him being a part of this Bill Walsh experience with the Falcons.
No doubt about it. And if that's the route that he wants to take, I wouldn't be surprised in the next couple of years he's a wide receiver coach and out there doing his thing and being successful. So, yeah, man, shout out to you, Harry. Appreciate you, my brother, for always just being just a solid dude. And it's not many solid people in this industry, but he is definitely one of them, too.
And one more shout out to the Falcons before we wrap, and that is the Falcons are always supporting diversity efforts. So whether that's, and I thought about us this morning because I was reaching out to the Black College Football Hall of Fame. So they've been supporters of that from day one, but also supporters of flag football from day one. Girls flag football, to be exact. Georgia is one of the few states in the country that has actually sanctioned that as a legitimately recognized sport. And who has been there from day one? The Atlanta Falcons. They actually put up a wall at the Benz last night. So shout out to them for just continuing to go above and beyond in the community and supporting different and diverse efforts.
No doubt about it. We are all about it on ATL Day Ones. But for real quick, how was it at the Dream last night? It looked like it came down to the wire. They got that dub. Like, what are we talking about here? The Dream might be on their way to making a run. What's going on? What was popping down there in College Park?
Yeah, I know it is early because we have 35 games and we're only into the first 2 games. But the progression, even from game 1 to game 2, although it did come down to the wire, they led by as many as 10 points, only won by 2, but there were a couple great things. They literally cut in half, more than cut in half, their turnovers from game 1 to game 2. Very impressive when you think about the Wings, which is not the best team, but the Sparks, which is absolutely a competitor, able to hold the Sparks, who had gotten off to a great start from 3, held them under like 25%, while at the same time shooting 43% themselves. And man, Jarvis, we talk on this show about the importance of ball movement and being patient. Those ladies were moving that ball around the court. They were patient to wait for the 3rd or 4th shot. It was just a really good thing to see. And oh, wait a minute, Jarvis, wait for it. Committed to defense, what? Committed to defense, what? Getting them rebounds, what? Eliminating second chance plays for the opponent, what? I am liking what I'm seeing from Coach Tenitra Wright, and I cannot wait to get back out there to Gateway tomorrow to root those ladies on as they look for going 3-0 to start the season.
No doubt about
Ryan
it.
Howard, you a bad girl.
Yeah, keep doing your thing, Miss Howard and Coach Wright. Y'all holding it down for the home team. We're gonna continue to hold it down for you, because coming up next, we got some college football coaches out here running their mouth. But the difference between these coaches and the other ones that been running their mouth, I'm listening. We'll talk about it next on ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and Tenitra, right here, part of the big old lineup on Locked On Sports Atlanta.